Today we're going to talk about least common multiple and greatest common factor. I can find the least common multiple and greatest common factor given two numbers. So go ahead and make sure that's in your table of contents. All right, so let's talk about it. LCM stands for least common multiple versus GCF, which stands for greatest common factor. So from now on, you'll probably see it written this way, and you should know it's least common multiple, greatest common factor. So let's talk about what each one of them is. So least common multiple, what is the least common multiple? Well, the least common multiple is the smallest common multiple that is divisible by both of the numbers. We're going to talk about that. We'll do an example down here. Least common multiple of 6 and 8. Okay, so what is the greatest common factor? The greatest common factor is that is divisible by both of the numbers. So let's do some examples here. It says, what is the difference between LCM and GCF? Or GCF. Oh, I wrote it wrong here. GCF is looking at common factors, while LCM is looking at the common multiples. So again, that might sound a little confusing, so let's do an example. Least common multiple of 6 and 8. So multiples of 6 and 8, let's do that first. That's the first thing you have to do. Multiples of 6 and 8. So let's do 6. Multiples means you're going to multiply that 6 and keep going. So what's 6 times 1? 6. What's 6 times 2? 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, let's stop there. Then let's do 8. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. Oh, and I think I can stop. What I want to do now is find what is the smallest number, least common multiple they have. So if I go through here and look for what they have in common, I see that they both have 24, and there's nothing else before it that they have the same. The 24 is the first number. I bet if I kept going and doing multiples of both, I'd find more numbers they have in common, but I'm looking for the least common multiple. So they both have in common 24, which is the least common multiple. So the LCM equals 24. Now let's do the greatest common factor of 2 and 8. So factors of 2 and 8 are let's do 2 first. Factors are what you put together to multiply to get the answer 2. How can I get the answer 2 if I'm multiplying numbers? Let's always start with 1. I always start with 1 when I'm trying to find factors. 1 times what equals 2? Well, 1 and 2. 1 times 2, right? And that's it. That's all I can do. 1 and 2 are the only factors get multiplied together, or you can divide to get 2. Okay, let's try 8. 1 times 8, and I'm going to put it from the smallest number and the largest number. 1 times 8. Now, can I do 2? Let's try 2. 2 times what gives me 8? 2 times 4. 2 times 4 gives me 8. Are there any other numbers I can multiply together to get 8? Perfectly, let's see, whole numbers. So 3 times, no, 4, oh, I already have a 4. 4 times 2, so that's it. These are my 4 numbers that I have. Now, if I'm looking for the least or the greatest common factor that they have, greatest, that word greatest tells me the largest. They both have 1 and 2 in common, don't they? But which one's the G, the greatest common factor? Well, the GCF is 2 because the largest number they have in common is 2. So least common multiple, you're looking for the smallest multiple they have in common. The greatest common factor is the largest number, the greatest number that they have in common for the factors of getting that number. So on your practice, what you're going to do now is you're going to see this page here. You are going to be finding greatest common factor and least common multiple of these numbers. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through and you're going to try to figure out. This is a Venn diagram, so I know you've seen lots of Venn diagrams in your life. If it only works with 36, it goes on this side. If it only works with 54, it goes over here. And if it works with both, it goes in the middle. So let's do an example. Let's do the first one together. Let's go with, so we're doing greatest common factor, meaning we're going to see what do we multiply together to get 36. So 1 times 36. Well, 1 I know works with both, so I'm going to put 1 in the middle, and I'm going to put 36 because it's the largest number. I'm going to put it down at the bottom. 2, well, both of these are even numbers, so I know 2 works for both of them. 2 times what equals 36? 2 times what equals 36? 18, right? 2 times 18. So I'm going to put an 18 here. Let's just say we're not sure where it goes. Let's do 36. 3 times what equals 36? Let's just put a 3. 3 times what equals 36? Well, 3 times 12 equals 36. 4 times what equals 36? Well, 4 times 9 equals 36. Can I do 5 times something? No. Can I do 6 times something? Yes. 6 times 6. Oh, that means I'm done. 6 and 6 together, so that means we're done. And we only have to write it once on there. So these are all the factors of 36. Now, something tells me that some of these are going to get moved into the middle because they might work with 54. So let's do 54. 1 times 54. So I'm going to put 54 at the bottom. 2 times, oh, we've already got 2 in the middle. 2 times what equals 54? 2 times what? 27. 2 times 27 equals 54. Let's try 3. 3 times what equals 54? 3 times 18. Oh my goodness. So 3 and 18 have already been used. So I'm going to erase them from this side because I can put them in the middle because it works with 54 also. So there we go. Let's try 4. No, 4 doesn't work with 54. Let's try 5. No, 5 doesn't work with 54. Let's try 6. 6 times what equals 54? 6 times 9 equals 54. Oh my goodness, I can put 6 and 9 over here. I see that those both work with 54. So I can get rid of them from that side. When you're erasing, make sure that you're erasing very carefully and not ripping the paper, and also getting rid of stuff that you definitely want to erase so that I don't think that it's still there, okay? All right, now let's see. We did 9, 10, no, 11, no, 12, no, 13, nope, that doesn't work with 54. And I just realized, silly me, we should have stopped there. 6 times, so 7 times anything, no, and 8 times anything, no. And then we already had 9, so we're gonna stop there. So this is it. So if you notice, we did have to move some stuff from one side and put it in the middle as we did the other side. That's A-okay, that works perfectly. You can also jot these down on the side and add them to the circles later if you need to. So the greatest common factor here, so what do they have in common? Is 18. So that would be your answer. All right, so you go ahead and try the other two. This one's greatest common factor. You're gonna fill in your bubbles, and then you've got least common multiple here, and then another least common multiple. Good luck.